Franz von Kearney, writings by Frank Schmidt on the Danube Swabian people. These collected writings are republished in memory of the author, Frank Schmidt, so that others may continue to enjoy his work. May his spirit live on. Adam Beck. The Human Dynamo, 1857 to 1925. They cannot bring Adam Beck back from the grave to which their cruel attacks hastened him, wrote his biographer W.R. Pluman in 1947, nor tell him that they deeply regret the injustice that they did to him. But they can admit to the world how grossly they erred and how splendidly experience has vindicated the wisdom of Ontario and its great hydro chief. They, being Beck's detractors, did nothing of the kind. Instead, some plaques were unveiled to his memory. A school named after him and another German-Canadian, the sculptor Emanuel Otto Hahn of Reutlingen in Württemberg, Germany, was commissioned to raise in Beck's honor a statue, which stands today near the foot of Toronto's prestigious University Avenue. More of a stone guest than a living memory in the city, which he supplied with electric power. When asked about Sir Adam, most Toronto librarians looked puzzled. The new 1975 Encyclopedia Canadiana can refer the reader for further information on the subject to one whole book and an article, and others like the new Caxton Encyclopedia published by the International Learning Systems Corporation of London. In England do not even carry an entry on the man whom his king thought worthy of a knighthood for public service. A mere 50 years after his death, the founder of Ontario Hydro, the man who, according to the Toronto Telegram of September 27, 1913, was the embodiment of public spirit and who, to his biographer, deserved to rank as Canada's greatest son, a giant of industry who worked exhaustively like a human dynamo, Carty Pluman, to have been forgotten by the people. In 1947, Pluman prefaced his book on Beck by expressing the hope that such public spirit and such greatness and sacrifice for the common good would serve as an example of patriotism not lost upon the youth of Canada and of other lands. Very few people, even those who live near major research libraries, read Pluman today, nor are Canadian children taught about Adam Beck in school. One wonders why. Sir Adam's achievements were manifold. The monarchist would find himself presented in court during the reign of King Edward VE in 1909 and created a knight bachelor with King George V in 1914. The sportsman would discover Sir Adam and Lady Beck, who were Canadian masters of the hunt and champion horse breeders. The patriot would learn that Beck donated 10 of his prize horses from his hunting stable in England to the War Office, that he himself served as a colonel and director of remounts for all of Canada and never cashed one of his military paychecks, amounting to thousands of dollars worth of free service, and that Lady Beck washed dishes in soldiers' mess halls and acted as a chauffeur for draftees going overseas. The philanthropist will find that Lady Beck and Sir Adam founded and built the Queen Alexandra Sanatorium for tuberculosis patients in 1910 in Byron Village, where over 4,000 war casualties were later treated. To the conservationist, Beck should be known as an industrialist who went on the political campaign trail to preserve London's pure spring domestic water supply. Beck's appeal to socialists must be obvious. He was the most distinguished exponent of public ownership of hydroelectric power in Ontario. Plowman is right. The yet greatest lesson to be learned in this biography is one of understanding for a man proud enough of Canada to see her recognized as an industrial nation unencumbered by foreign controls. When Adam Beck proved long-distance hydroelectric power transmission technically feasible and economically profitable, he not only moved Canada into the 20th century, but he also made her key province, Ontario, independent from the coalfields of Pennsylvania. No one can render his country a greater service than to supply it with energy. But Adam Beck worked not only for profit or independence. He was genuinely concerned for the common good. Look at the poor woman on the farm. He is quoted as saying, "Every vein, every muscle depicts toil. She is bent over beneath her burden. It is our duty to straighten her back, brighten her eyes, gladden her heart, whiten her hands, and make her feel glad to be alive." Is it any wonder that her daughter, after seeing the poor mother crumple up beneath this cruel weight of oppression and denial, turned her eyes longingly to the city, to the good things we have, and which we deny those in agriculture? These are good words, not just in 1970. 5, the International Year of the Woman. These are the words of a great Canadian humanitarian, for all seasons, a man who himself had his roots in rural Canada, and was therefore familiar with the backbreaking toil, a far-sighted politician who recognized the dangers of urbanization at the expense of the farmer and industrialist who considered industry the servant of man. Adam Beck, who was born on June 20th, 1857, in Baden, Ontario, a town founded by his father Jacob Beck. His mother, Charlotte Hespeler, and Jacob Beck immigrated from Wheeler in Baden, Germany, first to the U.S. in 1829, then in 1830, one to Upper Canada, where he established a foundry in Waterloo County, operated a grist mill, and experimented with water power canals after having invented a peculiar water wheel of small size and large power. Educated at Galt Grammar School, Adam Beck was the first apprentice to work with his father in the foundry and milling business. But he soon struck out on his own veneering thin lumber and manufacturing boxes in Galt and London. In 1898, he married Lillian Ottaway, a barrister's daughter. They had one child, Marion. From 1902 to 1919 and from 1920, 3 to 1920, free to 1925. He represented London in the provincial parliament from 1905 to 1914 and from 1920. In 1906, he introduced a bill creating the Hydroelectric Power Commission of Ontario, over which he presided as chairman until his death on August 15, 1925. Adam Beck, who wrote Carty in 1925, was a man whose achievements in 25 years of public life are generally regarded as without counterpart in the annals of this country. So our virtues lie in the interpretation of the time.
Hey there, everyone. Wow, that was quite a journey, learning about the life and legacy of Adam Beck, a true Canadian hero. It's astonishing how his remarkable contributions have somehow faded from our collective memory. As we've seen, Beck was a visionary who championed public ownership and hydroelectric power. He worked tirelessly to make Ontario energy independent and played a pivotal role in shaping the province's future. Why is it that Beck's achievements have become somewhat obscured over time? Isn't it intriguing how some figures who were once celebrated can eventually fade into relative obscurity? And what about his unwavering dedication to the common good, to uplifting the lives of everyday people, particularly women and farmers? Did anything surprise you about Adam Beck's story? Do you think his values and principles still hold relevance today? And finally, what do you believe we can learn from his life and apply to our world now? Leave your comments below and let's continue this conversation. If you found this episode intriguing, please consider supporting us by liking, subscribing, and sharing with friends, family, or groups who share an interest in the fascinating history of the Danube Swabians. Your engagement greatly helps our new channel. For more on the Donauschwaben or this episode, explore the show notes for additional resources. Thanks for being with us, and until next time.
Wir sind Donauschwaben, Kindeskinder.